I've been wanting to start for a long time, but I've been waiting. It's so cliche, but I've just been waiting for everything to be perfect. I haven't been putting in the work to make it be perfect to have that type of start. I've just been procrastinating. It doesn't really matter what it is because at one point I was playing 60 hours of video games every 2 weeks on Steam. I was streaming, trying to make that work while not putting in, again, an appropriate amount of effort to make it work, given the actual level of competition. I even had success, made some money, and still just, it wasn't the right driver. I've done a lot of emotional work to become like a super level-headed and just very in tune human being with my emotions, and I can control them very well. That doesn't mesh well with attempting to be successful. And I also have ADHD, and so this procrastination and aversion and all of these different things play a part. But I'm not driven by insecurity. I'm not driven by a need to prove something to somebody or to the world, whatever it is. I don't necessarily have that. Now, I'm not saying I don't have the insecurity or the fears as far as falling flat on my face or of even success, but I don't have those negative drivers. I have the things that will negatively hold me back without the negative drivers, right? And negative drivers are much more powerful than positive magnetism, at least for me, in the present moment. And I want to foster those positive emotions and feelings to make them stronger and stronger. And I have. I've made steps. I started working out again. I've started eating better. I still eat some junk food when it's, like sandwiches and whatnot when it makes sense monetarily. I've basically completely quit video games. I still play Rocket League because I'm grand champ and, I have thousands of hours in the game and I truly do enjoy playing it, but I've deleted every other game. I'm playing like a couple hours a week now. Like I said, it was probably like 30 hours a week that I was playing all various types of games. I've, attempted to write things down. I've been thinking about things. I've been constantly improving myself, reading, self-educating, podcasts, videos, whatnot. But I've been doing that for a long time, and I recognize that the things that I'm learning, not necessarily about my emotional state or working out or any of those things, but related to career, passion, and development of skills, talent, and achievement, there's nothing that I can learn that I can apply to right now, recording this first video. The only thing left is to do. I have to get in the flow of recording, of editing, of writing, of posting, right? And then sure, I can do higher production level with, maybe a script that it took me a week to write and months to research, a lot of that's probably already been done, right? I have a lot of ideas that I want to get out that I've researched and learned about and formulated independent thoughts that, none of which have actualized beyond myself. Again, I've done a lot of positive work for myself, but I want to push that work beyond. And by pushing that work beyond, simultaneously do that not last, because it's never, do that next bit of learning and growing, which is the doing, something that I have struggled with more than anything else. I don't struggle cognitively. I don't struggle emotionally, more than like is necessary, I believe. Obviously, struggling is necessary. It's it's a feature, not a bug, and so I should say I don't unduly struggle, right? Not more than the human condition kind of, that you assume being in the human condition, I should say. But even today, like I've been thinking about doing this, just like, all right, and then I think about, oh, should I do another channel? Because if I'm gonna do these really nice bow-tied videos with higher production quality that maybe I'm paying someone to edit, should I create a second channel? But I haven't even done the first one yet. Why not just do this, have this as a permanent receipt of, hey, I started right here, dude. I've got a dirty dishes from the night before that I've been procrastinating on. I've got a little bit of a dirty desk, There's other things that I need to do. I've been taking forever to read this book that I'm trying to read. I haven't worked out in 2 days. I've taken 2 rest days when there wasn't even supposed to be 1 rest day. But it just goes to show it's so easy to slip, because I've had this before where I've been working out really good, and all of a sudden 1 rest day, 2 rest days, haven't worked out in a month, haven't worked out in 3 months, and it's okay to fall off. But as soon as you've realized you've fallen off, the real problem is not getting back on, right? It's saying, oh, I've fallen off. Well, guess I've fallen off. That is where the problems lie, because then you're increasing this time in between your initial improvement, and then you're not only not improving over that period where you're knowingly not doing what you need to do, but you're also allowing the improvement that you've made to atrophy both physically, if it's working out, or actual diet, right? Because then your levels of everything in your body really are going to not be optimal. But hugely mentally, right, trying to get back to it. Because what does that tell yourself if you've recognized maybe 1,000 times in micro increments every day that you're not doing what you should be doing, and then you continue to not doing what you should be doing, right? It's one thing to not know. And I really feel bad for most people. I have a lot of empathy for people who don't know, right? But that's not my excuse. I know. I've listened to, hundreds and hundreds of hours of podcasts. I've watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos. I've read books. I've probably spent 100 hours reading books. I should read more, of course, but the point is, you have to find your constraint. And my constraint is not the knowledge. It's not the education. My constraint is the action. And so to procrastinate on the action by continuing to push into the education piece when I know that it's overinflated in respect to the action that I've taken, well, it's just doing me a further disservice. It's further because I'm rambling right now and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I just shouldn't post this. Dude, go edit it. If you think you're yapping, cut it out. But also I recognize that these first videos that I'm making, they're not, look, if it finds an audience, if anyone finds these useful, cool. These, even though I know these aren't for publicity, these aren't to gain views. This is literally to get the ball rolling for me so that I can produce the things that are worthy of being viewed. And then in retrospect, this becomes worthy of being viewed. But I haven't done anything to make it be, worthy of being viewed right now. I'm just someone who's spent hours a day scrolling social media, even though I delete the apps because I know it's so, it's such a point of contention for me. But then I weasel away into my brain of oh, you should install this app for 15 minutes just to do this really quick because you got to communicate with someone or whatever. And then I've been scrolling for 2 hours, and every 15 minutes I have my screen time come up to say, hey, you got to put in the passcode to do 15 more minutes. And I have the time to reflect and say, I shouldn't be doing this right now. And then I put in the passcode and I continue scrolling, right? Why would you take advice from me? I'm not even giving advice. I'm just rambling about the shortcomings of my own life. But that is the point. This is the start point. And so I think I'm not going to set an end date on it. It could be for a week. It could be for a month and a half. It could be for the rest of the year. I hope it's not that, especially if I continue doing this and I continue pushing myself towards the right direction. I don't think it would be that long. The point is, though, I don't want to set some sort of date or limit. What I want to set is an expectation of myself and a commitment to post a vlog every day. A lot of it's just going to be me rambling. Maybe eventually I'll record myself working out, but I work out in my apartment gym and I don't really want to, subject other people to that, yada, 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 yada. And also, I'm not doing the most optimal workouts. I know my stuff, but I know my stuff from other people who you could watch that you would learn much more from. That's not the point. The point is more just, I'm going to go work out now. Hey, I worked out. I'm going to go to the sauna now. Hey, I did the sauna. I got to clean the apartment now. Hey, I cleaned the apartment. all right, I actually have to sit down and write, right? Or again, there's a lot of things that I want to do that I don't think it's too much, right? As far as setting myself up for success. Like, I want to clean up my computer and actually delete all the programs and things that I don't need in old videos. I have a lot of these videos stored, and I think I'm going to delete them all because I've thought about, it would be great to show those videos. Me from a year ago. I made this channel over a year ago with the intent of starting it. And then I went and did other things, and I procrastinated, and I even stopped doing the things that I didn't do this to do. And, all of these things got in the way, and yet here I am still wanting to do this. And if that's not a sign, then I need to dedicate myself to this before I can't dedicate myself to anything but whatever is superficial that can allow me to make an income to provide, which there's nothing wrong with that if you like what you're doing and you don't believe that you should be doing something else, but I know I should be doing something else. I know I should be doing this. And that's why it would be incorrect for me to do so. Like, if I liked plumbing and my father was a plumber and I wanted to become a plumber, society needs plumbers. There's absolutely zero things wrong with being a plumber unless you're kicking yourself every day going, I shouldn't be doing this. I want to be doing something else, right? There is no specific thing that we should be doing other than the thing that we should be doing, right? And it varies, and it comes from both introspection, but also action. Do the thing. Because and I'm just going to keep with the plumber example, but it could be any trade, it could be IT, it could be finance, it could be anything, right? If it's like an onion to you, where you are, whoa, but then there's this layer and this subset of knowledge that puts me above other people in this profession, and then there's this subset of knowledge, and then there's the subset within the subset, and then there's this and that, and I can do it, now I can do it 12% faster, having this level of information in this subset of work. Now I can do it 12% faster. Now I can do it 5% cheaper. Now I can do this and that and this. Like, if that's intriguing to you and intoxicating, follow it. I don't care what it is. But you have to find something that you're willing to just peel layer after layer. And when those layers get peeled, you think, I did it again. Nice. I found another one, right? Something that fulfills you. You're not going to find what fulfills you listening to someone else telling you what should fulfill you. It might help point you in the right direction, but you cannot superimpose it upon yourself if it is not meant to be, right? You have all of these experiences and hereditary markers from your parents and from the people around you in your environment growing up that are gonna shape what you should be going towards. And so someone who's gone through a completely unrelated trajectory telling you what you should be doing, it's not gonna work unless they had a similar enough trajectory where it turns out the thing that they are doing is the thing you should be doing, right? But it's not necessarily true, and you shouldn't fall into that trap. And now I've been yapping enough. Some of this might get cut out, some of it might not, whatever. That's going to be part of the editing process, which is something that I procrastinated on even when I was trying to do streaming, because I used to make gaming videos. I started making Minecraft gaming videos when I was 11 in like 2013. And so I thought that was my passion and my calling, and in another life, it probably was, but I did too much, and not in a bad way, but I did too much self-education to say, okay, like I'm just going to be, and not that I wouldn't want to do it as a hobby, but to do it as my job, I just know I would be doing a disservice to myself, and that's why I quit the most recent time. I had some success. I had TikTok lives where I hit over 1,000 concurrent viewers. I was on Twitch. I got 30 concurrent viewers one stream. I got subs, like donations, bits, right? I know I had what it took, but the passion wasn't there at the same level as it was because I saw myself in other people sitting in my streams. Can't wait to see your stream today. Your stream makes my day. And on the one hand, it's extremely endearing, but on the other hand, I saw myself, the way that I consumed other people, of their content, of their product, right? And just seeing, like, just getting a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I don't care how good my Twitch stream is, you should not be formulating your day around it, right? And that's like the anti-ego, I guess. I was just like, there is something more important for you to be doing, for you to be bestowing upon the world and upon yourself, whether that's self-improvement or the improvement of your environment and society, right? There's just something more important for you to be doing. So I don't want to facilitate procrastination or just overall numbing of the brain to get through the day, to say, oh, thank goodness I watched 3 hours of that so I didn't have to spend 3 hours like really having a rough time bettering myself. I want to be the person where you consume my content and it's nice. I'm leaving knowing more than when I came, and I'm leaving wanting to not go watch another video, and again, that's kind of counterintuitive, although I have a different business model in mind, one where I get paid for my expertise, not for getting the max amount of views, because that's not a business model that I like. I don't feel good about that. Like, I don't feel good about like, oh, now you want to watch the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video. And now you're going to watch an adjacent creator and watch 3 more videos because, like, no, I want you to watch and go, oh, that's something I can take action upon in my life right now. I can put the phone down. I can turn the computer off, or I can at least switch, what platform or what app or what website I'm on, to something where I can go make a positive difference in my life and in the lives of others, right? And again, I'm absolutely yapping here. The utility of what I'm saying right now is not for people tomorrow when the video goes up or whatever. The utility is seeing how I'm thinking right as I'm starting to take action. Because again, there's a lot of videos that I've taken and I think I'm literally just going to delete them all because I don't need that. Again, it's adding that additional like, oh, I should go through all my old videos. This is the same thing that I had with editing with streaming. I had a backlog of like a month of videos that I just didn't edit. And I'm like, I know there's good clips in every single one to upload. I would end my stream and then go watch someone else's stream instead of editing to create the clips that will push my own stream forward. And in the same breath, it's like, this is enough. I don't need all those videos because all of those videos were made by someone who ultimately wasn't ready, right? Not that I didn't say smart things or true things or things that could be helpful, but it's not helpful to me to put that burden on myself. It's currently 1:44 right now. I am gonna need to do some stuff to make some money and work, and so my schedule may be thrown out of whack, but now that I'm doing this, if I'm going to actually just hit my head against the wall, and eventually my head's going to get a little bit stronger and I'm going to be able to hit a little bit faster. But if I'm committing right now, like I am saying I am, to that hitting my head against the wall, right? Again, it's going to be very slow and inefficient and it's going to hurt me a lot at the beginning. But if I can keep hitting my head against the wall and not go, oh, I want to go put my head inside the pocket pussy, the metaphorical pocket pussy that is, TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and, even long form content and streams and whatnot, right? Then it is worth taking a bit of time. I have saved some money. I am frugal. I don't care about material possessions really, beyond practicality. Will that change to a degree once I have the facilities to get them? Sure, maybe. But as of right now, I've at least convinced myself that none of that matters. I'm very much utilitarian. Like, if I start making money, the first thing it's going to go to is probably buying grass-fed and organic foods instead of non-organic and non-grass-fed meats, Like, that's literally the first thing I'd put my money towards. And probably buying, like, more books and a better camera and just investing it. Whether that's literally into the business or into the business's most important prospect, which is me and my health. So here's what I'm going to do, because I do want to edit this and have this upload like tomorrow morning or whatever. But I'm gonna vlog the rest of my day. I'm gonna do the things that I need to do. I'm gonna do the trash, I'm gonna do my dishes, clean off my desk, hopefully get to, no, not hopefully, I'm going to also go through the videos that are in storage and just clear out a little bit. I won't get through everything. I also eventually, I have 10,000 unopened emails, and all of them are 99.9% of them are BS that I don't need, but I'd like to go through that. I have text messages, spam messages and stuff. I used to be in real estate, and so I get texts of oh, do you need health insurance? Do you need health insurance? And I just ignore them. I don't delete them, but now I just have 150 unread messages of, again, BS. But I'd like to just go through all these things, and the problem is, again, because I'm thinking oh, I can't start this because I need to clean my email. Well, guess what? Cleaning my email seems like hitting my head against the wall, but there's thumbtacks pointing at my skull all over the place, right? And so I don't even clean my email, and then it's well, I can't start uploading videos and starting my business if I don't clear out my email and this and that and clear out the photos on my iPhone and clean up the apps and storage on my computer and maybe reset it and this and that, It's all BS. It's not a linear thing, right? I can do this. Oh, and then also I need to work out and I need to make dinner and I'll, make something hopefully relatively healthy. And then times I have to go to the grocery store and this and that and this and that, right? But then it's oh, well, I don't want to go to the grocery store, so I'm going to sit on TikTok for 2 hours. Great, cool. You still went to the grocery store, but now you get home and you don't have enough time to do the additional things that you said you were going to do. And then, right? And then I have days where it's I'll make progress, I'll blitz some progress out, and then I let a bunch of things that I have to do pile up and I procrastinate. And then I have another pile where I get motivated, but the motivation goes towards doing these superficial, repetitive tasks that I've been procrastinating on instead of making some real headway. And so again, this is just a ADHD ramble podcast, but it's not for anyone. It's literally for me to say, hey, you can make this thing, upload it. Maybe your mom watches it. If I even tell her I'm doing this, we call it a day. And then we move on and upload the next video. And then in a month, maybe you're writing your weekly Substack and you're using that to create a video and you're using that to create Instagram reel clips and you're doing different, there's all of these things that can happen. But if I don't even upload the insignificant ramblings that I'm having of deconstructing all of these thoughts about starting, if I can't even upload that, how am I going to upload something polished? Getting better at learning when to stop, and probably 20 minutes past that point, but this is my last thing. In the same way that when you fall off the horse, when you recognize you've fallen off the horse, you need to get back on. That's the most important part. It's not about falling off. Fuck it, you're gonna fall off forever, okay? It's about getting back on and trying to stay on for longer periods, especially when it's something as complex as your entire life direction, right? And not oh, I don't want to drink anymore. Okay, yeah, maybe you can stay on that horse forever. Or I don't want to smoke cigs. Maybe you can stay on that horse forever. Maybe. But you're probably going to fall off too, And if you don't, congratulations, hold the reins. My point is, now where I don't want to over ramble and waste time, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I've recognized it, okay, I don't need to keep yapping. Right? There's more things I could say, but I don't need to say them. I can leave it at this and return to it later. And do that, that's when you realize that growth is starting to manifest. So it is 6 hours later, 5 hours later, it's 7:10. Didn't get as much done as I wanted to. Of course, that's probably gonna happen in perpetuity for a while. I did transfer all of the files from my GoPro over because I realized I had 2 terabytes of gaming videos still on there. So I just deleted all of those, and so now I have plenty of space. I've got a 4 terabyte hard drive. This is not a comedy channel. All right. I used to have a lot of video games downloaded and record a lot of gaming content. Did all my dishes. This is literally just drank that with dinner. And this has my creatine and electrolyte packet in it. Took all my supplements. Like I said, transferred all the files, deleted all the files from the GoPro, watched some good podcast stuff, some positive stuff, but then I got a little bit bored and ended up going and playing Rocket League, which was fine because I only played 4 games. I practiced a little bit while listening to the podcast because it's kind of like mindless. And then I just played 4 games, won all 4 of them, got Grand Champ in 3s, which puts me at top 0.9% in the world still, even though I'm unked out and I play for like, half an hour a day or an hour a day, like less than an hour a day on average. I think now, even with the last couple of days playing a good amount, I've got like 12 hours in the last 2 weeks, which again, used to be like 60 to 80 hours in 2 weeks. Granted I was streaming, but a lot of that time was off stream when I should have been doing things to grow my stream, right? But procrastinating. And like I said, it's okay though, because it's 7, I'm about to go work out, and then I'm gonna come back up, do some stuff with, the editing and this footage if time permits. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go straight into my night routine, do my hygiene, wash my face. I wanna get back into that. I've got some pimpies. I just started washing my face like for pretty much the first time in forever. But I haven't been super consistent, so I don't know, like, it seems like it's going to work, but I need to give it, an actual few weeks of not missing a day to find out, right? That's how a lot of these things are. And it's just reprioritization. But it's just the problem that I get into, and I'm sure a lot of you can, relate to this. And it's, a lot of people with ADHD get it. But of course, with how the world is, how our society is structured, I think just the way our society is set up, even if you don't have a clinical ADHD or ADD diagnosis, almost everyone is going to deal with symptoms of ADD. Just again, because of how our society is set up and how stimulated we are and how much information we're getting, right? It's going to make you feel like I'm getting pulled all these ways. Whereas, someone like me who got diagnosed in the 1st grade, like I have clinical ADHD, and my father has it. I have this, I call it, well, I don't call it, people call it. It's called waiting mode. And it's like, I was transferring all the files, but it's from an SD card and it was like 300 gigabytes. So, it took like 3 hours. Like this entire time it just finished doing everything. The only time I wasn't doing it was when I was playing the game because it hit like an error and then I had to restart it with the rest of the files. And so I have this like 3-hour deadline, and I even thought, I was like, oh cool, I can hit the gym right now. But then I got hungry, and so I was like, okay, well I need to eat, and I don't like working out right after I eat. And I was eating a good amount of food because I was like gonna be done for the day, hopefully eating, so I can let my digestive tract get a little bit of a head start before I go to bed. And so I get in this waiting mode where it's like there's a bunch of other mini tasks that I could do while I'm waiting for this big thing to occur, and it could be an event. It could be you're going out with your friends later at 5 and it's 1 p.m. and you just find yourself just waiting for that 5 p.m. to hit, and so you're much more likely to take that like prefrontal cortex numbing action of like, let me just scroll, or let me just like watch a 2-hour YouTube video on, it could be educational. It doesn't have to be like brain rot, but it's not productive things, especially when there are things that you could be doing in that 4-hour time slot. Like I said, like, let's say you could go work out, or you could read, or, there's a number of things that you could do, but you kind of play this waiting game. And I really want to have the intention of removing this as much as possible because time is extremely finite. And not only do I want to achieve a lot in the short amount of time that I have, of course it's a long time, but relatively speaking, it is a very short time. Not only do I want to achieve a lot, but even if I didn't, just like willingly giving away time that I know even in 5 years I'm going to be like, I wish I didn't give that time away. Like I had such an opportunity of being young and having some money saved up and whatnot to really chase my dreams. And again, it doesn't even have to be about dreams. It should be, it hopefully is, but it could just be about like, I'm not in shape or I'm not healthy like I want to be. And I recognize there's these periods of time where I'm wasting where it's like I could meal prep. Because the excuse is always, oh, well, I don't have time to make a dinner because I've got to do this thing and then I only have 30 minutes and then I got to do this thing. So I've got to, eat out or eat, like pre-made, like processed foods. Whereas maybe there's this other time where you have like a 12 to 3 slot once a week and you're just playing a waiting game when you could insert something that's really highly productive and like highly like, you can leverage that time. Like it's very like that time is leveraged in and of itself where you could create something. What am I trying to say? Like that time is super valuable, right? It's this innocuous 3 hours in the middle of Thursday or something where you have a gap between like when you get out of school and when you need to work, or whatever it may be. But you can use that time and leverage it to do things that you feel you normally don't have time for that you would like to do, right? Like I said, meal prep, whatever it is. But yeah, one of my goals is really to eliminate that dead time, that waiting time, because I already throw away enough time. I don't need help doing more of throwing away time, right? And it's like, it wasn't totally useless time, but if I could have spent that time, really the big thing was I could have just worked out. And now that that's done, I could have already worked out, and after recording this, instead of having to go work out and then kind of having to get ready for bed and go to bed, I could have been editing this tonight, whereas now tomorrow, I have to do it all tomorrow, which increases the friction of like, is it likely to happen? And I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be very, very intentional and claw tooth and nail to make sure that this gets uploaded to show like, hey, we got the ball rolling. Like, the hardest thing was the first one. Now we're going. My motivation stacks up throughout the day. Like, my most motivated is 2 to 3 hours before I'm going to bed. And let me add a caveat to that. It's not 2 to 3 hours before I go to bed. It's right around when I should be going to bed, which causes me to stay up later trying to play catch up for the entire day that I typically wasted. And again, it's not like a waste, like I just rotted. Like, I did things that were fun or enjoyable to me, but not the things that I need to be doing to move the ball forward in the way that I want it to move forward, in the way that me in 5 years would look back and be like, you were in the trenches and you did the things that you needed to do, so that now we're here and we have this 5 years of it wasn't just, and again, there's nothing wrong with moderation in almost everything, but it wasn't 5 years of I fucked off and enjoyed everything, and now I'm 5 years later and I just have 5 years of enjoyment to show for it, which is not tangible at all, right? Whereas if I spend 5 years, and again, enjoying in moderation and enjoying, finding, it's all about perspective, finding the enjoyment in the trenches, and again, not grind 12 hours a day, headbutt the fucking monitor, headbutt my desk, fall asleep at the desk, grind. I'm not talking about that, dude. But I'm talking about actually actively engaging in high leverage activities consistently, so that in those 5 years, in the 10 years, in the 50 years, I look back and I'm like, I built something. I did something in the past that I enjoyed in the past, enjoyed the entire process, and then can reap the rewards in perpetuity, right? That's the goal for me. And it doesn't have to be the goal for you. That's my point too. I'm not someone who's going to push my life philosophy or ideology onto you, because at the end of the day, whether there's something after this or not, I don't think the thing that is after this is this, right? If there is something. My point is, we're all gonna live it the way we live it, and then it's all gonna end the same. But I hope that you hear my perspective, and perhaps it speaks to you to a degree where, not that you follow in my footsteps or anything like that, but just get the perspective, to look at life from an additional perspective, whether you agree with it or not, or whether you take pieces from it or not, look at it. That's literally the whole point of what I want to get across with my time, is just exploration of perspective and the mind. It doesn't mean you have to take action on every little tidbit that you get, but find those tidbits, right? And do your absolute best to twist them to understand not only your situation, but the situation of every fellow human around you. That in and of itself, I think, will make you happy. It's made me happy, genuinely. It's why I have such a hard time starting all this stuff, because I've already done the work for me, and it wasn't work that had to get done with my hands and my brain. Not that it wasn't with my brain and my hands, but it's not the same thing as creating a YouTube channel and editing and uploading videos, and then creating a course or a paid community to leverage to, create income so that you can actually do the thing full time and just go all in, and then make a podcast and then make a book, right? These are all tactical things. The thing that I've done, it's psychological, it's philosophical. And so again, I think I did it in a little bit of a messed up order. I think I did it in the ideal order for peace and happiness, But if I wanted to maximize for guaranteed like progress, I probably should have used my animosity towards things that have happened in my life and around me to create progress, right? Instead of like recognizing that I don't have to live with animosity and getting over it. But again, here's my perspective on it, is if I can get over it and become a relatively like happy and joyous and fulfilled and like loving person, you know, someone who's full of gratitude, and then I can use that perspective to create success. That's the thing. It's in this weird, like, it's like I see it, I know how to do it, but by doing it, I will have the ability, like by teaching it, I will have applied it to be able to teach it by teaching it, if that makes sense. Like the thing that I have the hardest time with is focusing and discipline and conscientiousness and all of these things like down. Deliberately, I would say it would be, the problem I have is deliberately foregoing the learning of information and using that information for experience, like whether that be playing a video game or reading the news or learning about something in history or just all of these things that are like, they're fun and they're not negative, but there's an inherent opportunity cost with the time. And so if all I'm doing is all of those things, I'm not building or creating. And so by the very definition, if I build and create, then I know how to teach you how to do it because I wasn't able to and then I was. It's all semantics, right? I think people get really caught up on language, but it's like I always was able to, I just wasn't. It's not that I couldn't, I just wasn't. You know, I was constantly day in, day out making the decision to take the short-term gratification over the long-term gratification, over the delayed gratification, you know, and oh my goodness, that is a fat mourning dove. I thought it was a pigeon, but I was like, pigeons aren't like around here, are they? That bird is so fat. But see, that there's the ADHD though, huh? Like, unironically, right in the middle, right? But imagine it wasn't a fat bird, it was a video game. Or it was a, you know, fancy thumbnail on a 30-minute YouTube video, on a 50-minute YouTube video, on it, you know, you get the point. The point quite literally presented itself. But I'm also someone, and this works to my benefit, where I am very like, I'm practically optimistic, but I am very optimistic. As far as like, I know I can. Like, there isn't. Now, do I have doubts that I will? Of course, because I haven't yet, right? If you ask me right now, I still obviously believe that I'm gonna do everything that I want to do and need to do, right? But I have to start stacking up that proof in reality. And the proof now isn't about, can I upload this video? It's a start, it has to happen. But that's not the proof. The proof is waking up a month from now and doing the things that I need to do to further myself, to further this, to further what I want to make and create and project into the world. You know, like I can do like a cute little thing, like buy a whiteboard to write my tasks on. And I had this schedule set up and, you know, like I had a schedule and a to-do and a done list and a daily habits and a long-term focus section. I had all these things written up, but all of a sudden, you know, 4 or 5 days later, I realized I'm not writing shit on the to-do anymore. Like I'm getting stuff done, but I'm not writing it. I'm not doing it, right? I have to live it. It can't just be, I can't just like prop up this system and say, okay, well now I'm just gonna do the system, because that has never worked for me. So I have to try something different. Something adjacent to it, like I need systems and procedures and things, but at the same time, I just have to live it. I have to, and it's what I want to teach. And like I said, I'm going to definitely become more, I definitely want to kind of like dispel a lot of the wisdom that I've thought about and feel like I have within these like vlog-ish videos where I'm kind of making a transition as far as my lifestyle. But then obviously once I create structured videos, I'm gonna reiterate a lot of the things, but I'd like to get them just out, right? Shoot, I prefaced that because I was gonna go into one of them, but I kind of forgot. That's another problem, obviously probably partially because of a suboptimal diet and being towards the end of the day and whatnot, and also partially because of the, oh, I know what I was gonna say. I recognize and I know, and again, the struggle is doing it. It's not knowing what to do, it is doing it. Because I already know what I need to do is stay super duper present. When you're trying to make a transition from one lifestyle to another, and again, it's not like I'm going on a diet. No, it's I'm going from eating unhealthily to being a person who eats healthy foods. Like it's a transition of lifestyle. It is not a protocol that like you're fitting yourself within to like make a change and then like all of a sudden it's going to be permanent. No, you have to make a lifestyle change, right? Like if you want to start eating better, you can't say yes every time someone wants to go out and then buy the fucking trashiest thing you can buy, like a fat burger. Now, can you do that every once in a while? That's the difference too. If it's not a diet, if it's a lifestyle change, then yeah, you can have a cheat meal, you can have a cheat day, right? Because it's not even really that. You're just eating healthily and then you're making the autonomous decision every once in a while to say like, yeah, I'm working out, I'm eating well, I'm down X weight. Like, I can't lie, it's 8:48 and I don't know if it's because I didn't get to finish what I was saying before my GoPro overheated, because I had been transferring stuff all day, so it was hot when I started the video. But I still haven't gone to work out, bro. I went on my phone and I played like this 2048, like 2048. Yeah, bro. I scrolled some Snapchat too, because I downloaded Snapchat to talk to a couple people. Because, like I said, I downloaded, but then they've got Spotlight and they've got stories and stuff. And like I said, bro, it's total. Well, I guess it doesn't, and now I don't get to walk around. My kryptonite. I guess it doesn't charge when it's plugged in and transferring files either. But my point before I got cut off again was, but I was conscious because it was a Reddit story that got me, bro. It was a Reddit story of a dude that got cheated on by his wife. And I was like, have I heard this one? Because I thought I had watched one that was super similar, but it got posted like by the channel that I like would usually listen to. I haven't listened to one in a while. Anyways, it just got me, bro. And then I watched another thing, and then I watched another thing, and then I watched some news stuff, and then I talked to my friends about some news stuff, and then about some meme video, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, bro, it's been like, what, like, wasn't it like 7:15 or something? It's been like an hour and a half. I've just been sitting on my couch, like on my phone. I'm telling you, this, like, but it would be so easy for me to say, oh, I already messed up. Like, just delete the footage off the GoPro. Like, I'm not starting today. But that's not the case, man. It's about getting back on the fucking horse. I don't care if I make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes. I've been making mistakes. We all make mistakes. But what I am gonna do is get back up. I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna go hit the gym like I said I was going to. I'm gonna do my nightly routine like I said I was going to. And then I'm gonna take my ass to bed. And I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, nothing to distract myself on my phone, to realize, hey, you gotta get up and just get working. So I'm not gonna do any sort of video later because, like I said, I'd really need to just go work out for like an hour. I'm gonna get knocked down a lot, but I'm gonna get back up one more time than I get knocked down. But you have to get knocked down first, so technically it would be so as many times as I get knocked down, I'm gonna get back up is what I was trying to say. Or am I starting on the ground because then I have to get up in order to fall down, and so then I do need to do... We're arguing semantics here. Put your phone down and get to work. It's so much more frustrating recognizing that like it's 10 p.m. and I could have been done with my workout. First of all, I could have been done with my workout before all the other stuff. So I could have been done with my workout at 7. But second of all, I could have been back up here like an hour early if I just didn't spend that hour sitting on the couch in between when I said I was gonna go work out finally and then when I went and worked out. And the part that frustrates me the most is that at no point, like it would be one thing if I was someone who's like, I dread working out. I love it. I put on music, an exclusive playlist of only people who have probably murdered someone before. And I mean, it locks me in to a degree that I cannot get anywhere else in life. I mean, like I am ready to handle business. The business being the weights, but metaphorically, I'm ready to handle any business that comes at me in that moment. And so it's just so peculiar that I still have the, can y'all hear the toilet? I don't know why it did that. I'm too lazy to go shut the door. Bro, that thing is loud as and then it stops. Okay, whatever. Anyways, it's so frustrating because it's not even like I'm dreading working out. The entire time I'm working out, I'm so happy to be working out. And yet I still procrastinated working out. That's what's so peculiar and frustrating. It's the same thing when I was doing streaming, like the super rare times that I would actually sit down and not pump out some cheap like 10-minute short with the first clip that I could find from my previous stream. Like when I actually sat down to like put together something that had edits and transitions and audio and like putting in the hours to do that, not only of course am I with the finished product like proud of it and happy that I made it with the long-term gratification, but when I'm in that like kind of flow, like, and I don't like achieve super flow, like I think otherwise I would obviously be working a lot more, but even when I get like to my version of what flow is, where I'm just like locked in on doing the thing, I enjoy that. It's not dreadful. So it's so interesting that this resistance, you know, like percolates, I don't even know if that's the right word, might not be, itself, like almost especially when it's a thing that's good for me that I like to do. And it's just so, you know, I'm sure it's partially like being comfortable is being alive. And so, oh, well, if you just stay in your apartment and you sit on your phone, like you can't die. Like, and you can't really die if you go work out in your apartment gym. And like, maybe you could die if you drove to the gym you have a membership at and went and worked, you know what I mean? But like, I think it's probably partially that. And then there's gotta be something. I mean, it's not even gotta be something. I recognize and I understand it as a principle. Just that I think I'm obviously afraid of failure, but that doesn't apply here. I'm not afraid of failure at the gym at all when working out in my apartment gym when no one is in there. Like, there's no notion of like failure or embarrassment like that's tangible, but there is like, I guess the fear is a bad word, but it's also the right word. But I don't mean a fear of like I'm scared, like my heart rate gets up, but I think more of I think the ego has an existential fear of success. If I start to stack wins and I start to do well and I start to work hard, that things are not only going to change, and again, not change like going down to the gym change, but change like my life will change, the course of my life and the actions that I take will change. And perhaps again, maybe that is less safe, but I think the biggest thing is it's just, perhaps it's the responsibility of, I mean, yeah, perhaps it's the responsibilities that I would accrue through success, both like for myself and then obviously for other people. Like if I hired anyone or if I'm doing a paid product where people are relying on the services that I'm providing, that they are paying for, or, you know. But I think it's also just, it's the texture of difficulty, which again, it's so weird because me, the self, I enjoy the difficulty. I enjoy the working out and I'm like, I'm planning on hitting 10 and then I'm at 9 and it's kind of hard and I'm recognizing that the 10th rep was pretty damn hard, but then I also am like, but that's because it was the 10th rep and you said you were going for 10. You know you can get 2 more, and then getting 2 more, like, that's hard, but I like it. But I do understand that in a creative endeavor like this, it's just exponentially harder to when you are like, yeah, I'm creating my body to present my body to the external world, but that's not as much my goal as it is just to be healthy for me. I already think I look pretty good. Like I'm relatively low body fat. I have a 6-pack. Like I have some muscle definition, some texture, like, you know, and some size, like, you know, and I can't really do pull-ups very well. I need to work on that. But like, you know, I can get 40 push-ups in a row or whatever, which is nothing crazy, but also there are people who can't do 4 or 5, right? And so I guess the point is with the creative endeavor, I think that lens, because that's the thing, is it's different for everything. So just because I have an aversion to the working out and going down, that's not the same. Like there's similarities, but I think there's probably more fear of success, but also a lot more fear of failure or embarrassment when it comes to creative. And also just the open-endedness. I think that's my big problem. It's choice paralysis, I read a book, I should read it again. It's called Faster Than Normal, and it's about ADHD. It's written by a guy who has ADHD, who said like he had to, just an example, like he had to write a book, and he had taken all this time where he was like, oh, I'll just work on it like 4 hours a week and then it'll get done, or like I'll work on it like an hour a day or whatever it was, and he just didn't do any of the work. So he booked a round trip to Tokyo from like New York, or maybe it was Cali, because I don't even know if you could get there nonstop. Anyways, just a round trip, and he wrote and so he didn't buy the internet or anything, so he just flew all the way there, flew all the way back, wrote, and got like the entire draft done. Obviously I had to revise and everything, but that just shows a point of like, it was easier for him to buy the plane ticket that was $1,000. It's probably business, it's probably $1,000 each way or whatever. It was easier and a higher return for him to do that than to just do it in his basic life. And he described other things like his closet. He just has like one thing, and he goes to sleep in his gym outfit with his gym shoes at the foot of his bed. So he's just like wakes up and he's like, well, you have to go to the gym. I'm in my gym outfit. Because just the friction of having to pick an outfit to go to the gym, he found could derail him to not work out. And so that connects very well with me, both as someone who has ADHD and just, again, screw the specifics, like just as someone who suffers with that problem of like the littlest bit of friction. Like I have to put I should take my creatine before I work out, because I have to take my creatine today, but my water bottle's dirty and I want to put my creatine and my electrolyte mix in my water bottle. And yeah, it would take 4 seconds to clean my water bottle, but I don't really like cleaning the dishes, and so I guess I just won't work out. Like that's how it works. Again, I think the only way actually to get over that and to get through it is to just headbutt the wall over and over and over and over. And yeah, maybe put like a helmet on when I headbutt the wall, and yeah, maybe try and find a softer spot on the wall to headbutt. You know what I mean? There's all these little tactics that are possible. And I think the more I headbutt the wall, the more those tactics will reveal themselves. But what I believe to be unequivocally true is you have to headbutt the wall. I don't think there's a way around it, especially for someone like me who's been having this problem since like I was a really good student until like 6th grade. And I mean, I was like, and I still, the interesting thing is my standardized test never fell off. I was always 99th percentile in like everything. And then, I slipped as I got older and I fell behind by like really just playing video games all day. I fell to like 98th percentile, 97th percentile in some stuff. But even like the ACT, I took the practice ACT, got a 25 because I didn't study at all and I was like not hungover, but because I was fucking 15 or 16 or whatever. But I just got a terrible night's sleep playing video games all night. And then when I took the real ACT, I did no practice, no prep. But the night before, I watched some videos on tips and tricks, took a practice one that I printed out and got a 34. And then I went and took it the next day and got a 33, which is 98th percentile in the country, 99th percentile in my state. And during that time, junior year, I did average with a weighted, like a 4.2, because I took 6 AP classes, and some of them were 90% summative, 10% formatives, which meant like I had every year of high school, I think I had 40 missing assignments a semester. And it was the same with when I got the 4.2. My solution to a poor GPA was to just take classes where it was all tests, and I just did well on all the tests. And I will admit, like I cheated enormously on formative work. Exponentially. And like, just, things that like, there were skills in and of themselves, right? But it wasn't the skill of just hitting my head against the wall and doing the thing. That is something that I think I allowed to atrophy from a young age, and I never recuperated it. And not to say I'm extremely resilient, but it's not the same thing. It's adjacent, right? Because I'm resilient as in like anything could happen to me. My parents could die tomorrow and I'd be sad. I'm not saying like I'm a robot. Like I have emotion, but I've just so well regulated it and thought so much about what life is and how chaotic it is and everything. Like I've had events in my life, which I will eventually share, that would cripple a lot of people. And I mean genuinely cripple, like never recover, whether you become a terrible person, a depressed person, whatever. There's a lot of people who wouldn't recover from the things that I've gone through, genuinely. Yet I'm a happy, like I haven't even done the things that I want to do yet, and I'm already fulfilled, happy, like content. And again, I'm not trying to purport myself as some paragon of emotional stability. Like I have my days, I still fall victim to my intrusive thoughts I have a lot of negative thought patterns. Like one of them is like, I'm judgmental. I like to dig at people. I think, I'm a smart person. Like I said, 99th percentile in a lot of things. Like as far as intelligence is concerned, like I probably have like nothing crazy, but I probably have like 130 IQ, like pretty damn smart, like on the border between like extremely gifted and like beginning to be like low level genius. I wouldn't call myself, but I'm definitely gifted. I mean, that's undeniable. And so one of my negative intrusive thoughts is like when someone doesn't understand something that I'm explaining and I think I'm doing a great job of explaining it, and I may be doing a great job of explaining it, but they're not at the capacity, not even at a general level, but maybe at a specific level at the exact thing I'm trying to explain. Maybe it's not their strong suit. And like, I have this urge to like passive aggressively, condescendingly like dig at them and like say things that like, I don't say, oh, you're an idiot, but like, I'm like, I'm smarter than you, you're stupid. I don't like that. It's hard, this is all semantics because I do like it, right? It brings me some sort of like dark pleasure, but I don't want it to. I don't like the aspect. I like doing it, right? But I don't want to do it. That was a tangent, just to say like, when I say like these, like I'm so like well adjusted and this and that, it's like I'm a human being. First and foremost, I want to say that. But I also want to give myself the pat on the back. And again, not even to give myself the pat on the back, but the point is that you can do it too. There's nothing that's stopping you from processing the things that you've gone through and turning them into things that motivate, give you feelings of gratitude and vigor for life. I'm gonna stop yapping so that I can do my evening routine and go to bed. But if I want you to take anything away from this first video, well, keeping in theme, it would be just start. Doesn't have to be good. Might be shit for a long time. Might not be, but it might be. And that's okay, as long as you're doing. That's what I'm doing right now. Doing.